What's up? What's up, team? Just waiting for you. Mm, mm, get money. Mm. Let's see where Nini is. All right, team. Well, maybe we're gonna get started. Just waiting to see when she gets in the building. Nini, you in?
There we go.
There we go. Damn, I was having a brain fart. All right, all right. How you doing today?
I am wonderful. Hello, everyone.
What's going on with everybody out there in the world? Today we got a good one. It's I think a little bit in my realm of how much training do you actually need, right? So our topic today, um, we're going to be welcoming you guys back to Transformation Tuesday. It is week 7, and today we're going to be talking about something that might be surprising to you.
Your window's down.
Um, Sorry about that. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about keys are in the car. Today we're going to be talking about something that might surprise you, and it's overtraining, y'all. How much do you actually need to train? And more training does not automatically mean that more results are going to be occurring. All right.
So often, many people feel exhausted. You feel sore all the time. You feel stuck, or you feel like you don't see results. This episode is for you.
Because the real question isn't whether or not you're working hard, but are you working smart? And I think that the tale of what we've been going through here in week 7 is just efficiency, right? We try to make sure that it's not that we are thinking that people can't just train, or we're saying that training isn't effective. It's just how efficient you are with hitting the results. And I think you kind of pride yourself on making sure that you help people design their nutrition based around their actual living space, and not just a hope and a wish of what they would like, but like actually be efficient with what your day to day and your lifestyle is going to be able to provide for you. And we see it all the time. Someone says, I'm going to be training 6 days a week, I'm doing cardio after lifting, but they're barely taking any rest days, right? And then they're going to be like, well, I don't see anything changing. And we see it all the time, right?
Yep. And usually we see the under eating, the no
Mhm.
recovery, and then a body that is overly stressed. That combination does not give us fat loss and it does not give us body transformation.
Yeah. So let's get into our naturalness of this, and just say, are you seeing anyone on either side of the fence, over dieting, under eating, and or overtraining and not being able to eat enough. Are you seeing that in your spaces?
That's pretty normal for a lot of people. And one of the first things that people do when there's stress, there is kids, responsibilities, work, that stress load gets so high, and people tend to try to change one aspect. They want to either say, I'm going to eat less or I'm going to work out more. And there's no strategy to it. So you end up seeing poor results all over and just a fatigued person.
Yeah, and it's just like that. The thought process that you go to the gym and you break things down, right? The gym isn't where you build, if we're being honest, but the gym is where you go, you break muscle fibers down, and hopefully, if you rest or you do the right recovery, which is i.e., sleep, nutrition, all of the other recovery modalities that we can invest in, that's when we see the rebuilding, the reshaping. That time when we're asleep plus the protein that we're getting from our nutrition is where you're going to see the immense protein and or muscle development that is going to allow you to see the composition changes that we're actually wanting. So when we think about overtraining, it isn't just the elite athletes that are doing this. Overtraining looks like constant fatigue. So if you're dealing with that, poor sleep habits and or just poor sleep ability,
Mhm.
increased cravings, that you're just craving things that you shouldn't be, uh, plateaued results. So you're getting stuck. You're not necessarily seeing the adaptations that you want to via training and or body aesthetics and just various mood swings and changes, right? That's the things that we're going to be dealing with when we're in that overtraining trap.
And while that happens, everybody, for men and women, when we think about women, so much of that is the too much high intensity training. And when you're not necessarily at that level, that's what you see a lot is for many ladies, that high intensity training, whether it be HIT workouts, HIT HIT or HIIT HIT workouts
Yes.
that are at the highest level of conditioning when someone is not ready for that, and so they're doing that, and it's just causing more stress because they think that's going to give them results faster, but it actually is going to stall your progress because you physically are not ready for that just yet.
Yeah. I'm not ever here to bash anybody or any different training style. I just feel like there's always a time and a place for every style of training. Um, and hit high intensity interval training right now isn't being even done or manufactured in its true essence, where we're lifting heavier weights, doing bigger lifts, compound lifts, and we're getting short rest periods, but having long rest periods in between each set. You know what I'm saying? So if it's let's think of a clean or a back squat. We're lifting that back squat at 75 to 85% of our one rep max, maybe even higher, 85 to 90, and we're only getting a few reps in and we're doing it in intervals, but then in between each interval we get a nice full recovery, like we're in phase 4, phase 5 of strength and or our power and explosion. These little ones where you're having little dumbbells, you're just it's almost a cardio development, and it has some muscular endurance, but to see the adaptations, the muscle breaking down and reforming in a stronger setting to create the body composition or the tonality that we want, that's not going to happen with your high intensity every single day. Um, and this is just what people actually need, is they're going to need progressive overload, right? Over time, continuously doing those same big compound lifts. Be intentional about your strength days and make sure that you are focusing on compound lifts like we spoke about. The number one thing for conditioning or performance day is making it short and efficient and purpose driven. We don't need to be elongating these conditioning days, right? We need to make sure that they're purposeful and that they're short and explosive. If you look at that track athlete, right, we can always go back to that track athlete and we think about that long distance runner versus that sprinter and look at the shape of their bodies and look at which one would you ideally want. And if you are somebody, I'm not saying that everybody wants that nice and toned firm body. Some people do want something a little bit more sleek, less muscle mass. Then that is the way, but just know which way you need to train in order to see the results that you're wanting to be, and that's where the purpose driven portion of that conditioning and performance day. The last thing that we want to discuss in that space is just the rest and active recovery. You're big on your walks, right? 2 years ago, I think we were big into, you were definitely flowing into that animal flow. So that's the mobility aspect of things in a different dynamic setting. And then low intensity movements where we do our deload weeks and we're just recovering, we're still moving, but the intensity is down, but we're still having the mechanical levers to go through each and every, and it allows us to get through a full range of motion to help with joint support and things like that. So that's it. That's not 7 days of chaos, right? It's
Hmm.
structure.
And the point of that, guys, is when you have nutrition that
And
supports
when
that
nutrition
structure.
supports that structure, your body is going to respond a lot faster, right? The fitness
Mhm.
industry, like we've been saying, is going to sell intensity, but that's not it. That's not going to beat the consistency of a long-term goal, right, Nina?
The most important part is so often people feel like if I'm not sore, if I'm
You
not
muted.
sweating, I'm not muted.
I can't hear you on my end.
I'm on.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hmm. Let's see.
Press that again. You can hear me?
Try one more time.
Yep, you can hear me now, right?
Hmm.
No?
You hit that little mute mic button at the bottom. Is yours red?
Mine is on. I'm not muted.
I don't know where we went with this. Give me 2 seconds. Can anybody hear Nitra? Can you guys comment in the comments and let me know whether or not you can hear Nitra talking right now? Give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, I can hear you. No problem.
Anyone's, anyone's. Thumbs up for Nitra communicating. No, we got a few people on here. I'm just not sure. Ah,
Let me see. I don't see
let's think
anything in the
about this, Lee.
chats.
And you can hear me, but I cannot hear
Yes.
anything you're saying right now. Let's see if we bring her back, if we catch back up. Sorry for the technical difficulty, team. Can you hear
Better?
me?
I
Yeah,
can
we
hear you.
back. There we go.
All right. I figured you
Log
couldn't
out
hear
real quick.
something. All
Yeah.
right. So what we're saying is, oftentimes people feel like in order to improve, that their body has to feel like it was destroyed, that
Mhm.
they're super sore, or I was sweating profusely, and that signals growth or that signals transformation. But it doesn't. It just signals there's some fatigue.
Yeah.
That's it.
So where do you find yourself at in here? How do you feel like you recover? What are some recovery modalities that you do? And do you have a threshold need that you feel like, okay, because right now you guys are doing 2 a days, and I'm not sure if it's 2 a days every day. I know it's at least Monday through Thursday. I believe you guys are doing at least 3 to 4
Yeah. We
2 days.
do
I know Friday
two
is
a
the
days.
one joint that y'all do, but I know you're probably doing some active walking or recovery something on Friday. So give us a spill of what you're doing right now, please.
So for many of you, you may hear me say, right? But this is part of our profession. So you may hear us say that we work out for, let's say it's 2 hours, hour and a half. And it may be something segmented between one workout and then we go do something different right behind it.
Hmm.
However, it is something that we have been conditioned for, and our recovery looks different. And so, when someone hears us say we do it, you may think, "Well, gosh, I could do that too." Is that better? Is that worse? Is that contradictory from what you all are talking about? But it's not, because we have different types of recovery. So, ones that I do specifically, I do not exercise at all on Sunday at all. If anything, I just go for a little walk. I have to move
Yep.
my body. I may stretch, On Fridays, while I do train on Friday, after that, it's in the morning. I don't do anything else. On Thursday, I don't do anything other than a 45 minute to an hour, right? 45, let's say class is an hour on Thursday. I don't do anything else after that. Plus, I get a massage every other week. So every 2 weeks, I get a massage. Plus, I have red light therapy tools. I may do cryo as well.
Yeah.
So, plus, I also have fascial tools that I use at my home. And so there's a lot going on that I may do for recovery to make sure that my body is it feels good and my mobility is good. But I also do at home. I also have a power plate, and I do a lot of stretching and mobility work at home on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
these are things that happen so I'm not stiff, my body does not hurt. I focus a lot on range of motion. So there's a lot of things that I'm doing that other people may not necessarily do. So that's why your training volume can't look like mine or Troy's or someone else that we work out with because you're not doing some of those other things.
Yeah. And training volume comes over time, man. I just
Yeah.
was literally thinking about training volume the other day because when I was coaching with at CrossFit Waterside with this young lady named Cassidy Lance, she was a CrossFit pro. She was like top 10 in 2016, 2017. And man, to try to keep up with her in the muscular endurance she had in that volume. And I remember her telling me that day, like, "Oh, Troy, don't worry about it. This is just a lot of volume for you right now." And it kind of like hurt my heart because I had been through so many different training environments, but the way a CrossFitter trains is very intense and it's grueling on the body. So, but she was big on I started off with her as just her massage therapist. She found out I was
Hmm.
a level one coach, brought me on board with starting to coach and things. But she was just trying to make sure that she was taking care of her body, and she had some good. She had a yoga instructor at her training facility to help do yoga classes and stretch. She had me there as a massage modality. She was big into water sports, so she would take herself out of the element of just weightlifting very often and just do some paddle boarding and skiing and things like that. So that's where I learned about how to handle volume and not necessarily overtrain. But I know that there are moments when we are just our lifestyle, the way that we enjoy training, we are falling into that same realm of overtraining. And I was wondering if you know when you feeling it. Like, do you ever feel yourself being like, I might have overdid it right then and there? And has that been
Hmm.
anything in recent, or is that something of the past? I know I catch myself still in that space of overtraining from time to time.
Oftentimes, believe it or not, even in our heaviest volume months, I never necessarily feel like I've overtrained unless I actually have an injury. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, last year, as we did as we did the high rocks, and my
Mm-hmm.
hip was really bothering me. That wasn't necessarily an overtraining thing. That was I'm not sure if it was
An
a
element.
part of the
Yeah.
running. It's just par for the course. It happened.
Yeah.
And so just coming back from that, but beyond that, if it's not an actual injury, like I've done something, or when I hurt my
Mm-hmm.
shoulder, we all knew it happened in front of us. That was a very specific thing, but it wasn't an overtraining. It was a careless movement, and so that moment, these things can cause me to pull back, but not stop. But from a training standpoint, over time, I think I've been able to handle the volume and not feel like, man, I'm overtrained. Or if I feel fatigued, I'll say in a minute, okay, I think I'm done, or I'm
Yeah.
not going to do. I
Yeah.
do listen to my body very clearly. And when it says that enough is enough, or I'm tired, or you know what, that doesn't seem like that's something that I should do today or I can do, then I won't.
Yeah.
I won't,
Um,
I don't press it. I'm
I
done.
think I catch myself more so training for multiple different things. Like last year was a lot training that in the beginning. Remember, we were doing the bodybuilding plus the high rocks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then transitioning straight out of that until April, I went straight into high rocks. Trying to start to lightly prep myself for the Ironman and make sure I was acclimated to the water. So it's just mine isn't necessarily a physical fatigue. I think I mentally drain myself where I'm like, man, this is just a lot. Like, so just making sure that getting some rest and making sure I get that part and dialing down a little bit earlier, winding down and not allowing myself to get overwhelmed with the amount. of
Hmm.
training, because there are big bouts that I have to do when I'm training, especially now with this Ironman and making sure that we're running 10 plus miles to be ready for a marathon, and biking over 40, 50 miles kind of frequently so it's just like the volume of that, plus I still love training, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
weightlifting and what we're doing, so I can't leave that out. So there are moments where I'm just like, man, I am exhausted, and then the workday just has to keep going. So um leaning on you and questioning, bringing up things and just saying, hey, how do I get better as far as nutrition with this to help. I'm big on compressions right now. That's my thing. That's my go-to as far as recovery modalities, and red light therapy and a vibration plate. Those are my big three. If I had to add one more in there that I'm missing that I want to do that I'm not doing right now is sauna.
Hmm.
So getting
I
back
left that
into
out too, y'all. I left
yeah.
that out.
So just making sure that I would love to hit a sauna three to four times a week if I could. When we had our sauna here, I was very frequent post workout, just getting all of those toxins out, rehydrating and flushing the body out, and just having that good filtration system going on. So that's one of my biggest ones that I'm missing out on. But the red light therapy, the compression, the Normatec compression sleeves. Right now, going to Sauna Bello, doing the lactic flush, lymphatic drainage, i.e., that has been helping and making sure. Actually, that's been helping immensely. And now that I really think about it, um, post the 36 miler, I did it twice, felt good, very fast. Post the bike, I didn't get to do that, but I did my Normatec at home. So just doing those compressions, and then I have my 2XU compression pants, or a whole system with the top and the pants and the shorts. So just making sure that we're getting that lymph, that waste or that waste out through those lymph sites, and being able to stay in it, and making sure that nutrition is better and is good, and then sleep is just as well. And that's still, I think that's always my most difficult one to stay on top of, is just making sure that I
Mhm.
can I can wind down a little bit at the end of the day. But as far as training, I think we're good with that. We have consistent deload weeks here in our training and that's what it's about. It's about a sustainable 12-week plan, right? It's not about a transformation plan. It's about something that is sustainable for 12 weeks until, and I always privy you with your until game is great. You really try to highlight people and make sure that the things that they're doing within the 12 weeks isn't something that's so off the cuff that they're not able to, but they have to be open and welcoming to the transition and or the change, right? We can't just have that bar set for 12 weeks, and then, like we see sometimes, people fly off the rails, because I know that you set them up for success, right?
When we think about the things that can really fatigue people, or
Hmm.
through a 12-week transformation where people can feel unsure or thinking, I don't know if that's for me, I don't know if I can do that. They think about, do I have the time? Can my body sustain it? And I will tell you that one of the things that can be most challenging is the mental load. And so when you think about how Troy or I or people that we coach recover, it is taking away things that really don't matter in your day and making sure that that you pay attention to the mental aspect of what's going on in life, because that will shut down many people's progress or their success on a transformation journey faster than their body will.
Yeah.
Because mentally, if you're struggling mentally, if the challenge for you is too great, then your body will follow suit. And that's where we see injuries, or when we see someone who can't keep up with the volume, it literally is because their mind is tired, not their body. And so we have to protect that when we think about recovery, when we think about what are you doing. One of those things is a mental check on, have we managed the stress? Can we manage the sleep? Can you manage day to day life, so that then you can train, you can see your body transform, you can see your health transform in something like our 12-week transformation, because mentally you're prepared for it.
Yeah, man. You don't want to just work harder, you want to work smarter for sure, right? Um, so within that, that's what our 12-week transformation thing does. Our transformation program, it has structure, and it has structure phases that we go through. Like I said, it's always about working smarter, not harder. Um, so if you're tired of doing more things, or things that just aren't getting you to that point of where you're trying to actually see the results, then I think it's time for some structure, man. And you guys have been following us, and or if this is your first time, please go back and watch all of the videos. This is week 7, and we've been trying to give you guys a lot of food for thought, $1 million worth of game type of thing, just here for free and allow you guys to understand where you can go. Next week, we're going to be pushing the envelope again, and we're going to be talking about something that I know I deal with you. You know, I talk to you about this very frequently, and that's gut health and bloating. And it's because digestion impacts everything, y'all. Everything.
And if your gut is inflamed, know that your ability to lose body fat, change your body composition, have success on your journey becomes more challenging because we can't get your body to do what it needs to do.
So before we get off of here, right? Because that's where we kind of close up at. Give me something that you are really excited to maybe go over with next week about that inflammation in the gut, how hard it is to help somebody lose belly fat or anything that you want to kind of just be like, hey, this is a striking point, and you should definitely be there for next week.
Listen, if you don't want to miss this one, because not one thing for sure, everybody thinks that if gut health is an issue or your digestion is a problem, that the first thing to do is take supplements. That
Mm.
is not the first thing to do. It can actually exacerbate a problem. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, you definitely want to come back next week so we can talk about what are the easy things you can do without buying additional supplements first.
Yeah, man. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Don't miss it. We're going over that gut and that bloating. All right, y'all. Thank you,
See you
Nene.
next week.
All right.